the Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.
You were just saying something about the fragrance, and I want to capture that.
We bought candles.
Yes, of course, like we always do.
We're the coolest place to work in the world.
Yes.
Or at least that's the goal.
Yes.
That's what we try to do in the Biofriendly to be the coolest place.
Yes, because we're fighting global warming, so we're staying cool.
Exactly. He's getting it. This guy
This guy gets it.
So what we do in that attempt is we all in this office like candles.
We love candles.
We love them.
We do.
Absolutely.
We like how they smell.
Yeah.
We like how they can bring in certain ambiance to the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And so we just got through the Halloween season and a little bit of fall.
Yeah.
And that was a success, I thought.
Big time.
Our candle scents.
Big
for the,
hit.
For the Halloween fall.
We had a story. We each had different fragrances that wove together a story of being at one of those like country fairs.
Yes.
Remember? It was a beautiful tale that we all held near and dear to our hearts.
Near. And dear. Yeah, both. All of the nears and dears. Yeah.
Keep talking.
And so we did that, and that was a success. And then we went to Bath and Body Works. It's not Bed Bath and Body Works.
No, it's not.
It's just there's no beds there. It's just Bath and Body Works.
Is there anything beyond?
So that's the Bed Bath and Beyond. Is everywhere. Right. That's where I buy knickknacks, towels, and I give dogs bones. And like pillows and things. That's a different store. Nice store. But no, we went to Bath and Body Works.
Mm-hmm. And it does work.
Yes.
For your body and your bath.
And both, all of those things. Correct. and we went to that place and we picked up candles. And we thought this is going to be great. We're gonna get ourselves all ready for the holidays.
Yes. With a warm up to Thanksgiving, right? We realized it's not quite Christmas, so we were going for that nice balance of the season, right?
Well, I think that Veronica and I didn't get the memo. Is the problem?
Get the memo.
So you got the memo because you've got a nice balanced candle.
Oh yeah, it's a little balanced. Yeah.
Ronnie and I I got candy cane, crushed candy cane candle.
Yeah. Which is delicious.
It's delicious. I ate it and it tastes like wax.
Oh no, we need to take you to the hospital.
We do. Which actually what I did is I got it really hot so that it was liquid and I drank it.
Then that's fine. That's fine. Nothing bad can happen after that.
Yeah. And then Ronnie got that wonderful tree farm. And you go into Ronnie's office and you're just like, wow. Wow, it smells so good.
It does smell very good.
But it's also subtle enough that it still, I think, hits the spot.
I think you're the only one who just blew it.
But my candy cane thing, I didn't know it was going to be like
it's so
a
strong.
Candy cane explosion.
Yeah, it's strong.
I just thought we were going to have a hint of peppermint in the air.
Yeah, but it's good. Look, don't get me wrong. It is great, and I love it.
Yeah?
I love the smell. It's great. But you came in and you said, I think my candle is dominating the other two. And so that was our concern.
I was the first one to leave the office space.
And then come
made
back.
Some phone calls, and then came back.
Yeah.
And then when I came back, I walked in. I was like, well, it just smells like candy cane with like a sniff of balsam and maybe whiskey.
Yeah, whiskey. But that wasn't from my candle. I'd been drinking since 10. No, my candle has vanilla whiskey, fireside, kind of smoky, that's what mine is. Yeah. So, anyway.
It's like a forest fire.
Forest fire. Yes, it's a good, everybody in Southern California loves that good, when you don't have a good forest fire in the fall, you got to buy a candle that smells like it.
Exactly. Yeah, I would say your candle smells like a hobo in a forest lighting a forest fire.
It's the whiskey you're referencing, right? A hobo. He's a little drunk.
He's a little drunk.
He's in the woods.
He's lighting a fire.
And he got
it goes a little too far.
And he got a hold of some Victoria's Secret vanilla.
Yeah.
And he's just like spraying
He's spraying it everywhere because he's trying to imagine his lost wife.
What a tale.
It's a sad tale.
What a story.
And in the process of lighting the fire out in the woods, he ignites the entire forest.
And that's
which then burns with the forest tree farm.
Yeah.
Except someone's dropping candy canes everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere.
Yeah, it's probably a gender reveal party.
I think it's a gender reveal party. It's a Christmas gender reveal party. So
with candy canes.
The moral of the story is we're going to suggest that Bed Bath and Beyond Body Works asks us to return when the
You're gonna return your candle that's already been lit.
That or we put that candle in the front somewhere, do like a quick light in the morning just to get a sniff, and then everything else could be something different. I think I need to get another candle. I don't think mine is helping the over. I believe that it seems like a drunk man at a forest fire gender reveal party, even though it's, you guys are the ones with the trees and the whiskey and the vanilla and everything. I think mine's doing it.
Yeah. I have a solution.
Yeah?
I have an idea. We need to get one of those Catholic Mass chain things that they hold with the incense, and you need to have your candy cane, and what you do is every morning you light it, but you walk the halls and just kind of... and you give everybody a little candy cane here, candy cane for you, candy cane, go down to the lobby. Bless
I'm going to go up now every floor of this entire building. All 11 floors are going to have that
candy cane smell.
Yeah, that's
and they're going to go, sir, you can't light candles in the building. And we'll go, we do what we want. Exactly.
That's right.
No, we do what we want.
Biofriendly.
We do what we want. No, we are very careful with our candles, by the way. It's very safe. If anybody here is concerned, we're very responsible adults who don't bump into furniture and yell out loud all the time. That doesn't happen.
We barely ever leave it on when we go to lunch.
Barely ever light the candle and then leave it unattended for hours.
Yeah, barely ever. Almost never.
Almost never. Almost never. And then return from lunch and go, what? Oh, no.
God. Why? Well, mine's off right now.
Mine is off.
It was just too...
Mine is off.
Much.
You guys, we feel good, don't we?
I think
feel
so.
good. You want to know why?
Why?
Because we didn't record a show last week. We did a best of last week, and so whenever we come back after a little break, there's an excitement. There's a buzz.
There's a
yeah, because you kind of missed each other.
Electricity.
That is a really good transition. Should I just get into the subject material after?
If we accidentally transitioned
You
perfectly,
totally did.
Then let's do it. Electricity. There's an electricity in the air.
It's funny you mentioned that, Noel.
Is it, Jacob?
How funny that you mentioned, because inside the Glasgow nightclub powered by dancers' body heat.
Well, that sounds 6 times sexier than it should have.
Yes, because it is sexy.
So you're telling me they go to nightclubs with all those sexy bodies dancing?
Uh-huh.
And they generate power from that electricity?
Uh-huh.
Because there is you can feel that electricity.
When
you
feel
see a couple of people who clearly they feel it. They got each other's groove. Mm-hmm. They're like, ooh, you're right for me. And everyone's like, ooh, you're right for me too. And it's crackling.
Yeah.
They can capture that?
Yeah. They can capture that.
Wow.
So when we say, I can feel that electricity between people, it's real. It's real. And a nightclub is like, dude, we could harness this energy. And that's exactly what's happening. And so that opened up today's topic.
That's so Scottish.
Isn't it so Scottish? Like, there's people dancing. I want to powder this whole club with a dancing body.
Let's grab the sexual attraction and turn it into pure power.
Your energy. We all know that the feeling of being hot and sticky inside a club.
I do not.
Yes, you do.
No,
you were young once.
I don't get hot or sticky.
No,
when I dance hard, but I remain
cool and non-sticky
and slick.
But imagine if all the heat could be used for some good. That's exactly what one Glasgow venue is doing. SWG3. Not a great name for a club.
No, let's work on that.
Yeah. So I admire your innovation.
Welcome
and your
to Southwest Glasgow 3. SWG3. It's like a congressional district.
Totally, it does. It's like, where do I vote? You're in SWG3. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's great. And then I'm just on this. Just fill in this little thing here.
Totally.
Okay,
totally.
Good. Do you need my ID?
What strain of COVID is this? Oh, it's SWG3. Yeah. It's just. I got to be honest. When you
Where's your parking spot?
Yeah, it's SWG3. We parked in SWG3. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Give me one, Veronica. What else does it remind you of? It's a type of
SWG3.
You got a bit for us there. What does it sound like? A weird. Sounds like whenever you put a bunch of letters and numbers together, it just doesn't have a catchiness to
like
it.
A video game almost.
Yeah,
yes.
right. Like
they're abbreviating a video game.
Right.
That's perfect.
Yes.
That's perfect. And it's
Style War Grand 3.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a bunch of guys on Twitter talking about Style War Grand 3.
Yeah.
And they're like, "You guys been rocking the SWG3 yet?"
It's the best game, man. You gotta wear the best clothes. You gotta walk out in front of people and show them off, man.
Can you imagine if that game took off as big as like Grand Theft Auto, but it was literally like fashion modeling amongst like 10-year-olds?
Oh, yeah.
Like, look at this noob walking in here with jeans and a t-shirt.
Come on. Where's your style? How about some flourish, idiot?
Get some flourish. Get some accessories.
Yeah. Could be a flight.
Yeah. Yeah. Could be. Oh, yeah.
Could be a flight.
Like,
Pick me up at 3:30, Terminal 7. I'm SWG3.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Is that Delta?
Yeah.
No, it's Southwest.
Southwest, yeah.
Of course. So SWG3, a Scottish nightclub, has officially launched a new system that uses visitors' body heat to power the whole venue. Okay? The project is named Body Heat.
Ooh.
Yeah. Say it with me.
Body heat.
Say it, Veronica.
Body heat.
Oh, she's the best. That's not fair.
The best,
She's
I know.
so much better than us.
So much better. Body heat was trialed during the COP26 climate conference. It captured the heat of all visitors and staff, then stored it in a series of shafts across the site.
Are we doing an environmental article, or
I know.
is this just like a romance
I apologize.
novel?
It is a romance. Okay. So the venue will capture the heat from all the venue's visitors, and the energy will be then stored across 12 underground boreholes before being used to heat or cool the venue. So that's how it works. So there you go. Once operational, the system could save 70 tons of CO2 a year. What a time to be alive, it says in the article.
So they're essentially taking your heat,
Yeah.
and then they're shoving it underground.
Yep.
And then trying to use that heat to make it warmer, and then that saves energy.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
they don't have to pay money to heat the room up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So, but here's the thing. And before you knoll me on this, because I know what you're going to do.
Go ahead.
I know what you're going to do.
No, do
this
it.
is like when I bring a solution, I'm like, hey, they're making electricity from walnuts. And Noel's like, now let's not use all the walnuts on electricity. No,
Well,
this
it's
is
inefficient. Walnuts require a lot of water to grow. So if we're going to use them, I mean, like, there's probably better ways to do it that waste less power.
I'm like, I come in here and I'm like, they're making hats out of pineapple. And he's like, let's not use all the pineapple on the hats. So that's
It's just not that efficient. That's all. I'm up for efficiency. It's not
I know.
that kind of thing.
No, but this opened up.
Plus, pineapples are food, and there's food shortages.
This,
No, guy.
I brought this subject up because it actually opened up a bigger topic, which is, whenever I do these stories that I see where it's about a nightclub that's capturing body heat, I'm like, well, let's not stop there. Let's go further. Let's figure this out. Let's talk about how we end up in the matrix and computers are using our bodies to
As a battery.
generate power.
Now
And that's what this show is about.
Okay.
About our bodies being the source of energy and power.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm taking it further.
Can I discuss what just happened? Or
No.
Okay.
No.
That's fine.
No. Please.
fine.
Please. Go on.
That's good.
Go on.
That's cool.
No, go on.
Yeah. Well. Okay. It's definitely.
An interesting idea.
I mean, I guess you're using it anyway, right? I mean, it depends on. I suppose if you feel like a club gets too hot while you're in there,
Yeah.
and maybe that's the bonus, right? Because
Yeah.
essentially you're just when you go into a room filled with people, and then those people make the place very warm
Yeah.
because people generate naturally heat,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if you're in the club and you're dancing and you don't want to be so hot and so sweaty, if they suck some of that heat out and store it to use it when the place is going to be colder,
Yeah.
that's kind of the idea. Again, probably not that terribly efficient, I would bet.
Yeah.
But hey, it might be. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see like how much energy it requires to get that heat away from the people and down into the. I don't know.
I think the concept. So what I thought was interesting about it is it's obviously not a solution that solves everything, but it's this idea. So clearly,
Feels gimmicky.
It is a gimmicky thing. But could it open up this idea of our bodies are doing a lot of stuff all the time, and if we found better ways of grabbing what they're doing, then we might be able to power things. And so little electronics here and there might not always have to be powered by so many batteries all the time because our bodies are making enough power. That's what it opens up, I think.
Okay.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, so these guys clearly presented this to COP26 and they said, this is what we're doing, this body heat. So everybody's dancing. And so all the bodies are generating and moving. And so it starts opening up this whole technology, which is like, well, everything from running, everything from, what our regular bodies are doing all the time. If we have a way to harness it. And that's why it goes back to, so this all comes from a concept called piezoelectricity. So this is something that was discovered in the 1880s.
Okay.
So I think I'm saying that right. Piezoelectricity is the electric charge that accumulates in certain solid materials such as crystals, certain ceramics, and biological matter such as bone, DNA, and various proteins in response to applied mechanical stress. The word piezoelectricity means electricity resulting from pressure and latent heat. It is derived from the Greek word piezon, which means to squeeze or press. So that's,
Fascinating.
Exactly. The piezoelectric effect has been exploited in many useful applications, including the production and detection of sound, piezoelectric inkjet printing, generation of high voltage electricity, as a clock generator in electronic devices, in microbalances to drive an ultrasonic nozzle, and in ultrafine focusing of optical assemblies. It forms the basis for scanning probe microscopes that resolve images at the scale of atoms. It is used in the pickups of some electronically amplified guitars and as a trigger in most modern electronic drums.
Okay.
So that's piezoelectricity. It's been around for like 150 years, but it's opening up the door.
I would say it's been known for 150 years.
Yeah. It's been around forever.
It's been happening in nature.
It's forever.
Forever. Yeah.
So you're not a fan of the nightclub thing.
I don't care what people do, man. Get after it.
You want to make your dance floor capture body heat.
I know that's fine. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
good. It's fine. A dance club's probably the best place to do it because generally people want to cool down at a dance club anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. I'm fascinated. I want to see where you go with this.
Okay.
I want to see where you go with this.
Okay.
Of course I'm going to have my
Your null things.
I don't know.
Yeah. So this opened up the door to how to turn your body into a renewable power plant.
Oh boy.
Okay. So if you close your eyes, everybody do this
All right,
exercise with
closing.
me. Close
Closing
your
my
eyes in a quiet place. You will begin to feel the cadence of your breathing, the beating of your heart, the pulse in your wrist. Darth Vader will show up and tell you that you're family members. All these phenomena tell you that you are alive, but they are also an example of wasted energy. And I don't mean drunk energy, like the hobo in the woods setting the fire. In a perfect world, the human body could become a source of renewable energy in which our breathing, our heartbeat, our movements, and even the flow of blood through our arteries could be harnessed by tiny power plants. So this goes back to the Matrix. We're batteries. We're walking batteries. For years, scientists around the world have been working to build such power plants.
Can I open my eyes yet?
Yes, you can open your eyes. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes. You were lost in it?
Well, I kept imagining, except that you were talking about other stuff. I was like, I don't want to imagine this.
You don't want to
This
imagine
isn't
us in the
nearly
Matrix?
as nice as when I was
Peaceful?
sitting there thinking about
Zen?
my breathing and my heartbeat and all the rest of that. But
Yeah.
yeah.
The goal, they say, is to create a new generation of devices that can use the body's energy to power pacemakers, diabetic alert systems, and many other devices that would measure vital signs in real time without using any more electricity than our bodies can generate. Some researchers are building systems that can even harvest energy from our movements to charge a GPS or mobile phone. So that's where I'm going with this.
Okay.
Am I going in a direction that you like or you don't like?
I think it could be great.
Okay. I'm going to keep going.
Keep going.
Okay. Nanotechnology to harness our energy. The energy available in our body by physiological processes is 1,000 times greater than required to power some small electronic devices, explains Zudong Wang, a professor at the University of Wisconsin in Madison and an expert in piezoelectric materials. The name given to certain solid materials, such as crystals or some ceramics. I talked about
We know this.
Yes. Wang designed a kind of miniature. This is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Wang designed a kind of miniature windmill consisting of a thin strip of piezoelectric material that, when vibrated by the passage of air, like that produced by breathing, generates small currents. This and similar devices are capable of generating tens of microwatts, sufficient to move small electronic devices such as sensors or implants to measure blood glucose, blood pressure, or to monitor the heart. In recent years, the nanomaterials engineer and his team have developed a bandage that applies electrical pulses to accelerate wound healing and is powered by the energy produced by the rib cage as it expands and contracts during breathing. They have also invented a wireless patch that harnesses the energy from random body movements to promote hair growth through small electric pulses. Wang is applying this electrical stimulation of cellular activity for regenerative purposes to the creation of implants that can act inside the body, for example, to help mend broken bones and then be reabsorbed without a trace.
Okay. Are we there?
There's tons of stuff in here.
There's tons of stuff in here.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I don't want to read too much. I want to do overviews, but I want to get your thoughts on this.
Okay. Potentially.
Yeah.
Great. Look, so it's like throwing a power ball in a river that captures the energy as the river's going by anyway.
Right.
Right? So I think this is kind of like that's sort of what we're talking about, except
Right.
that we're doing it in the body, right?
The human body.
Let's take advantage of
100%.
If the blood's flowing anyway, let's capture energy from what it's doing.
Yep.
If you're breathing anyway, let's capture energy from what you're doing. If these things are occurring regardless, why not capture the energy while it's going?
Yeah.
I think theoretically this could be fantastic.
Theoretically, could be fantastic.
Could be amazing.
Okay.
One of the things that we tend to do, and I grew up in a family of, notice how many of these things are created by Australians?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I grew up with one of those families. That's
Yeah.
my family. That's
Yeah.
my dad and
This
his
is
brothers.
your family. No, I'm just kidding.
And my brothers.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
This, this is like this the idea that you make a discovery of something. Here's an opportunity to be more efficient or to divert this energy or do this thing differently, right? And I think that's something that we, like Americans, do this a lot too, or did this a lot. Now I think you see it happening a lot in the Far East.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot in China, Japan, Korea. They're doing a lot of innovation like this. It's potentially very rad
Yeah.
because if you can make it work, then it changes the world.
Yeah.
Something that we don't do very well and have not done very well since the Industrial Revolution is test these things to see what happens when you do it. What are the unintended consequences of it?
Right.
Because a lot of times when someone makes a lot of money out of an idea, then it has unintended consequences, and they have the money to silence that, silence the knowledge about that, silence the understanding of what that might be doing.
Right.
Could it be possible, and I'm not saying it is because maybe it isn't, but could it be possible that the body is more efficient than we think and has evolved pretty well over the last several million,
Yeah.
100 million, possibly billion years?
Yeah.
And that if we start attaching things to it to affect that, is that going to have an unintended consequence? Are we going to start making people die younger?
Yeah.
Because energy that we didn't realize was being used somewhere, or because slowing down even microscopically the flow of something causes some problem.
Yeah.
Or because adding electricity here where it shouldn't be there might be an issue. Or because that wasted energy is not wasted energy, but how we produce sweat so that we can cool our bodies down.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? There's a billion reasons why our body does what it does, and it does it because it successfully worked its way to that over a very, very long period of time
Yeah.
through natural selection.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it wouldn't be better, and I'm not saying it wouldn't be right. What I'm saying is I get worried when I start to see this kind of stuff because if it goes well and it becomes popular and gets used all over the place, we'll never be able to stop it. Or when we're able to stop it, it'll be too late, which is kind of the point of this show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that we're sitting here looking at the unintended consequences of industry for over 100 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Absolutely.
we just didn't realize this was going to happen. We thought, look
Yeah.
at all this innovation, look at all this great, and a lot of great things did come from it.
Yeah. Yeah. I had an adverse reaction to it, obviously, because they're mostly, and I didn't get a chance to read through more of this, but it was obviously talking about things like medical breakthroughs like pacemakers.
Yeah.
Right? And so what this would do was a pacemaker, the battery dies after like 8 to 10 years and they have to go in and change it.
And how scary is that? Another surgery.
Another surgery, and
Right.
you got to go back in. And so this invention would completely alleviate that problem because then it's powered by itself. There's no battery source in there anymore. The body's powering the pacemaker, which is pretty cool.
Well, but this is also, this kind of comes back to a lot of people's COVID argument, right? Which is, and I apologize to the world for making a COVID argument, okay? And that's, get your shots, do your thing, blah, blah, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
But my point is that there was an argument that different people should have different requirements right? Depending upon how old you are, maybe you should absolutely get a shot.
Yeah.
Or maybe depending on how old you are, you should absolutely stay in more or wear a mask or what, like that. You could scientifically see that there were different categories of people who had different categories of danger.
Yeah.
And why weren't we more specific in determining who should do what?
Yeah.
So if your heart is failing
Yeah.
and you're gonna go anyway,
Yeah.
why not shove a bunch of stuff in your body and see what happens?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in that case, I feel like it's a little different.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but the concept of let's pop this in everybody and see how it works for batteries, which, by the way, I know that's not I'm just saying.
Yeah. You're looking at the worst possible scenario.
Let's just follow it out to see what, right? If it gets popular, it's like we can power everything with our own bodies. And then everyone's got cancer by 19.
Yeah, yeah. The concept in most of this is talking about, so like the next one goes on, like think about this. We all have iPhones and Apple Watches, and you have things that you plug in at night, and you have these devices and batteries around you all the time that constantly need a charge. So a lot of this idea is coming along and saying, well, what if there's a band that you wear around your wrist? This isn't added surgically. This is just a band that's around your wrist, and it's capturing your electricity from your body as you sleep. You're just breathing, your heart's beating, your heat's coming off of your body. And by the time you wake up, your device is charged and you charged it.
I would be astounded. If a human creates that much energy while they sleep from a wristband.
So at the University of Illinois, materials physicist and chemist John Rogers created a chip made of nano-sized layers of lead zirconate titanate, a piezoelectric material that generates electricity with each heartbeat and sends it to a small battery where it is stored. The whole thing is mounted into a silicon layer that is implanted directly into the heart. Now, this is for a medical procedure. It's for a medical procedure.
You said it was a wristband.
No, just wait. Hold on. Other similar technologies exist. Rogers' team was the first to test it on large animals such as cows, pigs, and sheep, demonstrating that it generated the necessary energy and did not cause rejection problems. In Bern, Vogel is testing a device with the same purpose, which harnesses the movement of the heart and transforms it into electricity by electromagnetic induction, just as the pickups of an electric guitar. But they have another one in here that just talks about a band around your wrist that would help charge while you sleep. I just was reading the part about the surgical thing next. So let me find that real quick. But that's the one about the pacemaker. Vamp, guys, vamp.
Yeah, so as of now, if a cow's heartbeat, which is stronger than mine, is getting the cow surgery so that we can charge a cell phone. Yeah, feels like something a scientist would do because he could just to prove that they can. Yeah, not something like if we're worried about cows, and I think we are on this show, right? Yeah, we're the fans of the idea of let the cows live as long as possible, and if you're going to eat them, then let's do it. Yeah, let's do it when they're towards the end of your life. Let's do it after 20 years. Yeah, then I feel like putting having them charge our phones is pretty inhumane. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think it's about. So I'm out on that.
You're thinking of the cow charging her phone?
Yeah. Well, that's what you were talking about there.
No, you married two ideas. I was talking about
You just talked about doing a heart surgery to a cow to prove that they can use the energy from it to charge.
Yeah. That's. So my thing about charging the phone and all that stuff was from another article that I referenced, and then I read the thing. This is more of the medical testing, medical for the devices. That didn't have anything to do with the phone.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. That was just saying we figured out that we could do this thing. So back to the pacemakers, things that could measure dialysis and heart machines and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Yeah. This has gotten so dark.
No.
So
you
dark.
Said
this
a
is
different thing.
No. I said I was reading.
You were talking about one thing, and then you introduced the whole different thing.
No, I know. Then, I was saying it was a cool technology.
And I was like, wait.
Yeah. Okay. An innovative Swiss startup has developed a technology to transform the heat of the human body into electricity. Could it be that soon that we will be able to charge up our personal devices with the power we produce naturally at no cost every day? Just for a moment, let's forget about solar, wind, biomass, or hydropower. What if source of renewable energy for the future were to be found in human beings? As we all know, our bodies generate heat. This goes back to the dance floor thing. We're particularly aware of this when we are in bed with a fever or just after strenuous exercise. But this capacity to produce heat distinguishes us from reptiles and other cold-blooded creatures. It is perhaps not so widely known that human heat can be stored and made into electricity. It's not a new idea, but in the last few years, researchers have been able to develop high-powered text storage devices that can be used for practical purposes. These have a mass market potential in the fields of medicine and wearable technology. Think of smartwatches and fitness bracelets. Mithras, a 2018 spinoff from the Federal Technology Institute of Zurich. They're nice people. They don't want to kill cows, aims to carve out some market share in this field. I've always wanted to create something with real potential. Listen, the heart of that guy, he doesn't want to kill
the way
people.
you're reading him.
Okay, and so I got into the technology sector because I love people and I don't want to murder animals. Franco Membrini, Franco Membrini, the founder and CEO of Mithras, told Swiss Tech Info that he started out doing a master's degree in history. He was fascinated by the idea of making use of the human body heat because he could see from the start the great potential of this kind of decentralized approach of generating electricity. So positive. The thermal energy emanating from the human body is on average equivalent to that produced by a 100-watt lamp. Did you know that? A 100-watt lamp. Most of the power just dissipates itself into the surrounding environment, but it is precisely that kind of waste, not heart waste, which the startup based in Chur in eastern Switzerland aims to recycle. It can do this by means of thermoelectric generator, which uses the difference in temperature between the skin surface, about 32 degrees Celsius, and the surrounding environment. So to generate electricity, this is called the Seebeck effect. It's yay, it's good, it's happy. It's wonderful.
You know what
They're
I learned?
helping people.
Here's what I learned from that.
Yes.
What I learned is that if we were to give police reports of events that of terrifying events to Jacob, and then have him read them in the happy voice, I think people would be able to deal with it a little better. They'd be like, oh, hey, well, we're all gonna be okay. We'll all be all right.
Oh gosh.
But then you could come right in and make them feel terrible about it again.
No, look, it almost reminds me of...
I can't hear you.
It almost reminds me... Wait, it's my...
your microphone.
Yeah, Veronica's gone very quiet somehow. She's talking through our microphones instead of her microphone.
Oh, gosh.
Which is
Am
too
I
bad.
connected?
There you go.
There you go.
Now we
okay,
hear her.
yeah. It almost reminds me of... I don't know if you remember this article that we did once, that there was these bicycles that were connected to the... You pedaled and it would charge your phone. So you were the one, creating the energy to charge your phone. So that's almost not using your bodies, but not really using your bodies. It's you're being physical about it, and you're moving, and you are creating the energy to charge your phone.
Yeah.
So it's something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think so. The idea is that they're transferring the heat using stuff you wear.
Yeah.
Wristband, t-shirts, pants.
Yeah.
Underpants.
Yeah.
Maybe a cool headband.
Yeah.
Maybe a hat with a windmill. Just kidding.
Yeah.
They're to capture that heat as you're doing stuff throughout the day, and then use that, and then that's some energy that you can use for something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this. So go ahead.
Again, great. I think that when I went doubtful on, and it was not. I don't think we got dark at all. Actually, I really don't. I think when you listen back to this, I don't think it was dark.
You
I
don't
think it was
think
just
so?
like, what are they talking about here?
Yeah.
A wristband while you're sleeping at night, capturing enough energy to charge your phone, feels like a long shot. But right now, it feels like a long shot.
Yeah.
Now, a bunch of different clothing that you could wear as you're moving throughout the day and doing your thing and whatever else could probably capture quite a bit of energy.
Yeah.
Possibly. And again, that's fine. This is cool. This is an interesting topic, and I'm not mad about the topic.
Yeah.
I'm not mad about what they're saying or what they're doing. I'm just poking holes in some stuff. That's all.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean that it couldn't be neat, or that isn't something we shouldn't take a look at and see what we could do. I mean, there's some cool stuff. We had that other episode a while ago. We talked about the. I think it was shirts specifically. We've talked about shirts before. I think that do this kind of thing.
Yeah. Capture energy as you walk.
Oh, I think it was aprons in a restaurant.
Aprons in a
that
restaurant.
was where we came up with the whole "don't be environmentally gimmicky."
Right.
Was that it was a apron that absorbed CO2. And so we were like, it's gimmicky, because it's like this thing. And I think that that is the problem, is that we're in a place right now where people are working in environmentalism and they're trying to come up with stuff. But you've got scientists in a lab, and I think that where this podcast was trying to go was in Scotland. They've got this dance club, and they're using piezoelectricity. People are dancing, they're moving, heat is captured. So they can use it. So obviously the nightclub is powered by other sources as well. It's like having two different ways of storing it.
Additional warming.
Additional warming. So it's like you've got your electricity, but what if they could offset that electricity? And like it said 70% of, is saved per year because of this technology. So you have all these bodies moving. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. And when I went searching deeper, it was saying, the human body does a lot of things, because we emit heat on the outside, but there's a lot of stuff that we do on the inside. And so as I was going through, I was going, okay, well, so we've got two things. We've got the external thing that the body can do, which is heat, heartbeat, energy that's emitted off of our body that we can capture very non-invasively. We can find things, and whether or not the technology can charge a phone from you sleeping overnight, I don't know. But these guys seem to think, we can do it. We can absolutely do it with the chips and the stuff that they're trying to get put together. But then on the other side of things, I'm like, I have family members that had pacemakers and stuff inside their body because they're getting elderly. And I was like, and then they've also figured out that instead of putting a battery charged device to keep the heart going, to keep aspects of the body, and we're putting in there and we got to go back in, we got to whatever, we can find ways to use the human internal aspects to power it. And I was like, oh, that's cool too. So I didn't really think about the Terminator aspect of it, which is like we do this for 80-year-olds, and then 20-year-olds are like, I don't want to have to power my heart anymore. And that's what and that's what I think when we went down that path, I was like, oh, I didn't think of the violent, terrible repercussions of people taking a technology and kind of perverting it into this Yeah. So my brain didn't go there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It could also be great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It could also be because you're like, wow, this really worked out.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
really
yeah.
does it. But I think, look, I do think that with a pacemaker as an example, that's a great use of the technology. Like your heart is going to beat anyway. Mm-hmm. Your heart only has so many beats left. Let's be honest. The body is going to expire at some point.
Yeah.
Man. To power a pacemaker with the power of your own heart, that's like, why not? Your heart is already powering everything else anyway. And then you could find out pretty quickly. I think with older folks, they probably would think it was worth the risk to not have to have an extra surgery in 8 years to pull it out. To be like, let's do it, man. Let's put this thing in there and give it a shot. And then you probably find out a whole lot about it once you put it in enough elder people.
Yeah.
And that would be kind of neat and interesting.
Yeah.
I think that what gets me here is similar to the thing about the apron, and that's all I was going towards, which is I feel like there are more efficient, safe ways to make energy than to go plugging crap into our bodies.
Yeah.
That's my feeling on the matter. The Matrix wasn't to me like a happy story.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. So I think that we have figured out. We've figured out nuclear fission, and we're getting a lot better at nuclear fusion. We keep at it. We keep kind of going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Spend the same amount of money, time, energy on that, and you're going to create, boundless, limitless amounts of energy. It just won't be a problem, and it'll be green.
Yeah.
And then if we're doing that, well, then we don't have to worry about adding additional stuff to our bodies if we don't want to. And then look, if somebody wants to be like, hey, I want to be Cyborg from Justice League, and then I can power it by doing this stuff. I feel like, look, I'm into freedom. I've got a libertarian streak. So if a person wants to go for it, I'm like, hey, man, plug in, dude, do it to yourself. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and I don't think, honestly, I do not think that the heart of what this technology is about, or at least what I was addressing today, because I started with the dance floor. And I'm ending with the band on your body, is that none of it is invasive. It's all saying however many bodies there are on the planet Earth, however many humans there are, we're constantly moving and we're constantly breathing. Our hearts are always beating and we're always emitting heat because we're alive. And so if there was a way that every single building, ground, sidewalk, clothing, whatever, was capturing humanity's energy, what a cool solution to us having to mine so many micro batteries all the time. That was my heart behind this, was if we could figure out, like, what if the human body is the charge that we need, and that way you don't have to go, oh, my watch, I've got to get another one of these batteries. I now have the ability to charge it just by this tech that's based off of what my body is putting out. I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
But it's not going into the body.
Even if it doesn't go into the body, we don't know what the side effects are going to be.
Yeah.
Like that's my point. Like if we're capturing every single extra piece of human heat that's going out into the planet, and putting it into clocks and phones and whatever else, there's probably going to be a side effect to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's it could be cool, but I think that there's a lot of ways to approach it. This could be one of the ways to approach it.
Yeah. Mithras is working on two main ideas: a bracelet TEG to be worn on the wrist, which can be used for charging mobile devices, and an integrated solution in which the thermoelectric generator is inserted directly into the device and hooked up to its battery. The only prerequisite to generating electricity is that the device should be in contact with the body, Membrini points out. It doesn't matter if you're having coffee, engaging in physical activity, or sleeping. The battery charges by itself. The Swiss startup has 6 employees and intends to concentrate mainly on medical devices, given their low consumption of energy. We would like to make insulin pumps, hearing aids, and biosensors monitoring body that's the wrong one. Temperature and vital functions autonomous from an energy point of view, says Membrini. This would be a way to get around problems due to malfunctioning batteries and possible complications arising from surgery to replace them. Another possible application would be cellular phones. Even though this is not currently a priority for Mithras, a smartphone consumes too much power compared to our solution. At most, we can prolong the life of the battery. As the winner of the last edition of the Swiss Tech Pitchenar, a competition among Swiss startups geared to the Chinese market, Mithras expects to launch its first product, a biosensor to monitor vital signs, by the end of the year. We are in contact with some of the largest international companies operating in the medical technology sector. Anyway, this is going to be the first of its kind to operate exclusively with body heat.
I think that the headline and the way this was presented so people would click on the article was deceiving.
You think so?
Yes. I think they were leading you and others down the path of this is a technology that can be used to charge our everyday devices and do that.
Yeah.
But when you read through what the article says, it's pretty clear they're talking about how can we make things that are invasive less invasive.
Yeah.
That's
what they're getting at?
That seems to be what it actually is, and I think if we're talking about that, I actually think that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
Because diabetics have to deal with a lot of invasive crap.
Yeah.
People with heart problems have to deal with a lot of invasive crap. When you talk about the medical industry, every time you go to there's a reason people don't like going to the doctor. They hate having things put inside them. They hate having things poked open, and they hate having scars and tubes and all that sucks. Every bit of that is awful.
Yeah.
So coming up with solutions that can remove the biggest problem, which is how do we power all this crap, particularly when so many of them are already designed to be low energy consumption devices, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well, to me, that conversation is kind of a different one.
Really?
I do. I think that's kind of fantastic.
Yeah. How is it different?
All right. So a phone requires quite a bit of energy. That battery requires a lot of energy.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and it is really to get the energy from human heat to keep all these batteries filled is going to have a side effect of some kind. We use our bodies produce heat for a reason. Our bodies do what they do for a reason.
Yeah.
If we start taking all of that energy out of ourselves, which I think would be, by the way, nearly impossible to do anyway.
Yeah.
To start putting towards things that require a lot of energy to use.
Yeah.
It's going to be wasteful, and we're going to lose out long run. So I think that we got to look in other directions to try to find out how we're going to charge houses and refrigerators and like all that kind of stuff. I don't think it's like trying to power your phone with a hamster wheel. It's like you could eventually do it, but it's difficult to do. Like the soccer ball that you kick around that we covered once.
Yeah.
It's great. It's fantastic. You kick it around all day, and then it can power a tiny LED light for 6 hours.
Yeah.
But that's nowhere near the energy you need for a phone.
Right. Right.
So, I think that's an inefficient solution for something that could go really poorly over time. But when you're talking about a medical device that's implanted in your body or that's constantly having to be changed up and messed with and screwed around with, and every time they do it, you have to go visit a specialist who then has to do something uncomfortable to you.
Yeah.
Any way you can reduce the amount of time that you have people having to deal with that's better.
Yeah.
And those things don't require, that's more like we're talking an LED light. That's like the amount of energy is actually significantly less.
Yeah.
So theoretically, you could do it. You could pull it off. So from that kind of perspective, I look at what you said in that last article. I was like, that's really actually very fascinating what these Swiss guys are doing. They're trying to reduce the amount of times you have to go to a doctor to get these things repaired, get these things fixed. And that's flipping terrific.
Yeah.
That's really innovative. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I lost you was I think that the headline was saying that it's doing one thing to get you to read the article, but the article is actually saying something kind of different than that.
Yeah.
And what the article is saying is fascinating as hell.
Yeah, I think that when I came into this, piezoelectricity, which is the heart of the dance floor in Glasgow. Yeah. And why I thought it would be fun subject matter because it's like you're dancing at a nightclub and you're shaking the floor with your hot body and you're powering things. So when I came to that, it was like that they're saying this technology has been discovered since 1880. So actually there's things around you all the time that are using vibrations and heat and pressure to capture energy. So this isn't new, but they're finding new ways to use it. And so then they go into all the medical aspects and they say, hey, we could power pacemakers and stuff like that. And then the vision for the future in the article is, what if we got so good at it, we gathered enough power we don't need to charge our phones by plugging them in anymore or charge our bracelets or whatever. We could power a lot of things, our regular battery items. And you're looking at that and you're saying, that is not possible. And it's a waste of resources and time to do it.
I think it's fanciful for the moment. I think the same amount of energy into other things would be better. Would be more productive right now.
So I think that when I read stories, I think I get caught up in the awesome, what a cool dream and vision for these scientists to have for our future. And I didn't experience that consequence feeling that I had was like, oh, this is a dangerous path to go down. And so when I was reading it, I was just going like, oh, cool, we're doing this medical thing. It's positive. And then it could go here. And that you're right, that the title is like, we're inventing a band that could charge your phone. But again, it's while you sleep. Right. And you go, okay, that's a cool concept, but they haven't quite got there yet. They're just saying, this is where we could go. So I'm looking at it enthusiastically and going like, this is where we could go. And that's, I think, why we had this crossover is that I was looking at it and going like, oh, that's awesome. And you were saying, look, medical procedures, by all means, let's do what we're doing with it now and let's perfect that technology because it helps people not be opened up. So anyway, well, we'll wrap it there.
Well, and maybe one day we make sidewalks that are out of piezoelectrical material that's every time you step on it, you're creating pressure and that creates a little bit of power and that offsets everything else. And we could have the most fanciful, wonderful planet that does everything that way one day.
Yeah, and
why not?
They talk about that in those articles where the planet would be everywhere you walk, everywhere you step. It's recording the footfalls and gathering that vibration and that energy. So it's an interesting thing, but it's also while on one side of the fence it's like, oh, it sounds so utopian, but on the other side you go, I don't know, where if we're absorbing all of the things being emitted from our body, what kind of harmful effects are those in the long run? So that's a fair point.
Yeah, or not.
Yeah, or not. Yeah, either way. Yeah, totally. So that has been your most unusual biofriendly podcast we've ever done. So we are your beacon of light in a gloomy environment.
Jacob's brain is constantly rebuilding itself.
I don't remember anything at this point.
We're the Siegfried and Roy of... No, that's the last year.
Featuring Todd.
No, that's the second one I do.
Don't be
environmentally gimmicky.
Where this guy's got bubbles.
Yeah. And featuring Todd Water Socks.
Take the W and get on with it?
Yes. We assume on this show. Never has that been truer in the world.
Do I have another one?
Ghost.
Ghosts are scary?
Are sexy.
Oh, they are
Ghosts are
sexier
sexy.
than scary. They
Yeah.
are sexy. Ghosts are sexy.
They are sexy. I'm glad it was a positive
It was a
thing.
great
Good.
topic.
Good.
I
I'm
actually
glad.
think people will probably enjoy this show more than many of them. I'm not, it wasn't as funny, but I think it was more interesting in a lot of ways.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it was a fascinating topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, I don't know if I'm right. I just say crap. I'm sitting here with a microphone on my face.
And with that, we say...
No, thank you guys for watching the Biofriendly Podcast. We appreciate it. Please share with your friends. Please show them this great moment in podcast history where the two hosts had an awesome, interesting turnaround in the 11th hour, and it was great. It was great. I loved it. So, Veronica, what do you say before we leave?
Have a lovely time.
Bye!
It's the Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.